Introduction. The book Successful Marriage contains various topics on the topic of marriage and poses problems scientifically and purposefully and sets solutions for them. It gives a realistic, almost comprehensive view of marriage, starting from the importance of marriage and how to choose the right partner, passing through the rights of the husband and the rights of the wife, and ending with marital problems, their causes and solutions. Why get married? Islam considered marriage to be a positive and perfect thing for a person and urged him and his preference for singleness and making the husband complementary to half of the religion, not to encourage marriage, but to describe reality, because marriage is a protection and a solution to many problems and achieves a set of important goals for the couple and for society, such as stability, reassurance and comfort on the psychological level, where the married person lives in a state of love and harmony reflected on aspects of his life, and on the social level, it enables the individual to build a family and interact with others through it. And on the financial and administrative level, it is an organization of family life and coordination of roles between the spouses, and also by marriage desires and instincts, because it satisfies his natural need instilled in him by Allah, and each husband fills the gaps that exist in his husband at the level of material deficiencies and moral instincts, such as the need for love, the need for human relationships, and other instinctual demands that must be adequately met and cause his happiness, while if they are met incorrectly, they are the cause of human misery, and the wife is an adornment for her husband and the husband is an adornment for his wife, where his actions and personality affect the society at the other end, in addition to the way he presents it to the other party and his relationship with him in society. One of the main objectives marriage also has the continuation of life and the multiplication of the faithful offspring, which the messenger boasts of on the day of resurrection, and therefore also promises abstinence. He told us that there is no place for monasticism in it. It is not consistent with his vocation and purposes, and if leaving because of economic circumstances and fear of taking responsibility for the family, it is contrary to good thinking and faith in Al-Razak. Choosing a partner, a man should pay attention to a number of qualities that should be in his wife, namely, that she has a religion that adheres to the Sharia provisions, that she has a measure. If she spends, then she spends with favor, and if she holds on to favor, and that she grew up in a social environment and a family that creates good qualities, and he is the one who chose her and likes her personality and tends to her, and the most likely attribute among all those qualities is religion. So he should not choose beauty or money over religion, as well as women should. The messenger has commanded that if someone comes to you who satisfies his religion and creation, then marry him. So in addition to religion, he must be of good character in his behavior and dealings, and this must be tested in him to find out how he deals and what his morals are. And Allah has promised his servants who are about to get married to enrich them from his bounty. Poverty should not be a reason to reject those with religion and creation, because Allah is the guarantor of their livelihood. As for premarital love, it is not a guarantee of the success of marriage, because it is a state of domestication between two people who have found something they like in each other, but after friction in marriage, they may find the truth contrary to the image that was in their minds. Love collapses and marriage collapses with it, and the mistake in love is that the focus is on the good side of the person and the rest of the aspects are overlooked, so the couple collides with the truth after that, whereas when a marriage occurs without prior knowledge, each of them gets to know all the aspects of the other's personality without being blinded by love for some flaws. Then they get married and love begins to gradually grow up after that. And it is not a married life based on love that lasts or based on the lack of love, but based on the presence of multiple positive qualities that lead to a good image of the other. Feelings are generated towards him. Family system and guardianship. There is an atmosphere that must govern the actions of the couple to face life together through it, such as affection. It is love and psychological inclination that leads to understanding and harmony and must be translated and shown in actions and actions as well. And the mercy that appears in activities in the form of giving without waiting for return. And cohabitation with favors in daily life. They destroy the family structure because the friction between the spouses is daily, and the lack of patience will have its effects accelerated to an uncontrollable degree. Islam has divided the family business and has made each husband and wife a unique role commensurate with the nature of each of them. And it is reported that the Messenger of Allah has divided household chores between Fatima al-Zahra and Ali. She does chores inside her house and he does them outside the house, and this is an example for all believers. Although a woman's work at home is not a mandatory Sharia duty for her, Allah has made men responsible for family matters with the strength of the body and endurance that he has favored them with, because they are responsible for spending on the family. This responsibility was accompanied by the power to decide the appropriate place to pay from his point of view. Wife's rights and husband's rights. It is known that there are differences between men and women from a physical point of view, such as the fact that a woman is faster in growth and in sexual puberty, while a man is larger in structure and rougher in voice, and so on, as well as there are psychological differences. For example, a man tends to sports, motor work, his feelings tend to. There is also a difference in terms of mutual emotions where a man tends to. In light of this, it becomes clear that what suits a woman may not be suitable for a man and vice versa, so we should give each one what works him and not equate them despite the differences because this is unfair to one of them. And a woman's rights are alimony, which includes food, clothing, and housing in accordance with custom and what is appropriate for her, and signing at least once in the 4 months. This is the duty, but it is desirable to relieve her and decorate her as he likes to decorate. He and his husband have rights as well, namely, the wife may not go out except with her husband's permission, as well as he has the right to resolve administrative matters in the family, such as financial matters or matters of education and others, but the husband has no right to command her disobediently or to oblige her in a certain way to dispose of her money and property. These are her own affairs. Marital problems. Conflicts generally affect the state of affection and intimacy that prevails in the family, and with their continuation, the intimate family atmosphere turns into an atmosphere of grudge and enmity sometimes. And just as a successful marriage has positive effects, a failed marriage has negative effects, including divorce. It is one of the most serious and biggest problems and hateful things in the Holy Sharia, and it has many evils, including the loss of children. The boy is in constant need of the mother's tenderness, and no other woman can replace the mother. And he also needs the shadow of the father, whom no one can easily compensate. In addition to the psychological effects that affect the lives of children and their loss of security, stability, and tranquility, and domestic violence, there is a beating attack, especially on the wife by the husband, and children may be affected by the husband or wife, and these are problems that threaten the future of society. And there are also social problems, where psychological instability and stress cause family members to collide with differences have reasons, including non-compliance with the Sharia laid down by Allah Almighty to regulate the marital relationship, poor understanding of the other party and not knowing what bothers him and what he likes and dislikes, or the unreality of their perceptions and expectations of marriage. They dream of a rosy life and collide with reality. Each blames the other and conflicts begin, or because of the monotony of life that occurs after a long period of repetitive daily routine. The couple feels bored, so each of them has to renew and beautify each other and appear strikingly. And there are things to avoid failure in the marital relationship, including, it is good to choose a life partner, and it is good for a man to choose his wife, and it is good for a woman to take care of her husband, and to consider each other as a blessing from Allah, and to fulfill the divine rights that are due to each other, and to fortify the relationship from external interference and negative influence by the environment. Nashuz. Nashuz is the failure of the husband or wife to fulfill the rights of the other that the Sharia requires of them, such as the failure of the wife to enable her husband from her or not to prepare herself in the necessary way so that her husband does not alienate her, as well as her leaving the house without his permission, and the man's, that is, without raising one of the parties over the other, and considering the right guaranteed in advance for either of them, and if they cannot reach an understanding, they choose the couple must be satisfied with the verdict unless this ruling takes away one of the rights that Allah has made for him. And the treatment of the woman's needs is also with leniency and understanding, so the husband preaches to her to soften her heart and remind her that leaving a woman for her husband's rights is considered disobedience to Allah Almighty. And if she does not respond, he abandons her in bed by turning his back on her, so she notices that he is not about her and seeks to find a solution if she is pious. Otherwise he resorts to light beating. The Sharia has allowed a man to use beating, but with conditions so that it prevents him from using his ability if all reconciliation solutions are implemented. Then it is a divorce by virtue, and it is not permissible for him to hold her, to harm her, or deal with her cruelly, to give up her dowry to him, or to be a kind of healing. Jealousy in women's work. Jealousy is a person's change from his usual state and his tendency to defend or retaliate when others encroach on some of his self-respecting religion, offer, or jah, which is an honorable quality, but it may cause problems if it goes beyond its limits and turns into a disease, especially if the other party feels distrust, so it becomes like a prison that bothers him and seeks freedom from it. And when women have different causes of jealousy, some of them are positive resulting from love and their results are not harmful, and others are negative originating from a feeling of inferiority and envy of others, and results are destructive, so the actions of women are judged by anger and tension as for the work of women. There is no doubt that they have a social role to play that may extend to the entire nation, or it narrows to be within a specific framework depending on the woman's ability, her life priorities and the conditions of society, and her primary role within the family to achieve moral needs and raise children, and she is not required to secure a living for the family. But Islam has imposed this on men, and this is appropriate for the personality and nature of each individual. She serves religion and society with her work and secures a living as well. And the work must be the family is the priority that occupies the most prominent space of a woman's interests. And then she goes to her community and performs her duty and role in it after her family is in good condition, because if the family is ruined, the woman will come out to society tense and ineffective, and culture cannot be built on destroyed families, because a calm, stable family is the pillar of community. And finally, we have realized the importance of marriage and how much it impacts the fate of a person and his happiness or hardship, which God has destined for us. However, we still have to seek and learn from the criteria based on which we choose a life partner, the problems that occur in married life, their causes, how to avoid them and how to solve them if they occur, and each party must learn what the rights of the other are and take them into account and not waste them.